Welcome back. Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, the Zulu traditional prime minister, has claimed that King MisuZulu has contradicted himself when he was appointed chief Thanduyiswe Mzimela to the Ingonyama Trust Board. Now, the king previously stated that he would not appoint Mzimela to the board. The board controls approximately 2 million hectares of land in KZN. Buthelezi went on to say that he told an audience of chiefs that this development was making it very difficult to serve under the rule of the king. Let's unpack all of these developments further, get some understanding of the issues at play. Professor Musa Xulu is with the Indonse Yesizwe think tank, and he joins us via our video link this morning. Prof, it's great to see you. Thanks very much indeed for coming on. What is going on?
Thank you very much.
And who is contradicting whom?
Well, some 4 or 5 weeks ago, we noted that the public statements coming from either Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi or His Majesty were contradicting each other. And therefore, we started sensing that there was some kind of rift happening. The contradiction comes, yesterday, as you say, there was this long meeting with Amakhosi, which Buthelezi addressed, and I got a call to come and listen what he was saying. So I went there and sat with the media. What happened there was a blow-by-blow articulation of how Buthelezi and the king have not understood each other around the issues of the new board of Ingonyama Trust. Basically, Buthelezi, the way I look at it, wanted former Judge Jerome Ngwenya to continue as chairperson of the Ingonyama Trust. And that was discussed with His Majesty and agreed upon. But then things started changing because they are blaming now, Buthelezi is blaming now a certain person called Jacob Mnisi, who is camped within the precinct of His Majesty and seems to be directing things as to how they should do, contrary to tradition, where His Majesty should be working with his traditional prime minister.
Yeah.
That is where the problem is.
In terms of the appointment of Mzimela to the board, is that problematic for you, despite the conversations that would have taken place between the prince, between the prime minister and the king? Is that appointment itself problematic?
It's extremely problematic, and I can't see the rift going away before Inkosi Mzimela is removed. Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi is of the view that a person handling Ingonyama Trust land issues should have a clear legal qualification and cultural qualification of some sort. And therefore, he was compatible with former Judge Jerome Ngwenya, and His Majesty the late King was very compatible with former Judge Jerome Ngwenya. According to Inkosi Mangosuthu Buthelezi, Chief Mzimela does not have those qualifications. Actually, it's not clear. He's a school teacher by profession, and therefore they feel that he will not be able to grasp the sophisticated issues around land in South Africa. And yesterday, Buthelezi started from the beginning of things in the period leading to the 1994 general elections and how Zulu society was mobilized around the issues of demanding the formation of Ingonyama Trust. And that some people died as a result of that, and therefore is not a small issue that can be just brushed aside. He seems to be very much attached emotionally to how he formed Ingonyama Trust in 1994. That is Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi.
Given the background of Mzimela and the expertise that he would bring to the board, do you think it would be worthwhile for him to occupy this position, Prof?
Look, from what I hear, I think because he also himself wrote twice to His Majesty the King to say that he doesn't feel comfortable, he doesn't know what's going on there, and so on and so on. His second problem is that Amakhosi are asking, how was he specifically chosen? You know, in South Africa these days, if there's a board of some entity, usually you get what is called advertisements, asking for qualifications. You must qualify for this, in that, and so on, and have this kind of experience. So he has neither the experience nor the qualifications. He has been asking for quite some time that he does not have a problem with being included in the board, but becoming the chairperson is just far beyond him, because as Chief Mangosuthu was saying yesterday, maybe what should have happened was to give Inkosi Mzimela some 2 years of orientation so he understands the depth of the issues of land. You must understand that the issues of land are central, and were always central to the struggle for liberation in South Africa. So it's not something that you can take very lightly. I think that's where the bone of contention is, in that maybe His Majesty needs to come together with Prince Mangosuthu and sort this thing out once and for all, because the contradictory statements are just creating confusion in society.
So, Prof, if Mzimela actually contacted the king to say, I feel out of my depth, this is not the kind of expertise that I feel I have, available to me. I don't think I'm correct for this appointment. Why would the king go ahead and make the appointment anyway?
It's complicated. That's when Prince Mangosuthu starts blaming a certain business person from Mpumalanga province by the name of Jacob Nesi, that he is the one that is pressurizing for this person who has himself admitted to be too weak for the position to go in there. You must remember, my sister, that when a weak person occupies a position that is much, much bigger than their capacities, he gets easily manipulated by those who know, and therefore it becomes suspicious. I felt yesterday that Amakosi are quite angry about this, and that they feel that sometimes somebody wants somebody who is as weak as possible so that he can be manipulated easily.
Yeah. I mean, that's an indictment on the king then, isn't it, Prof?
Unfortunately so, very unfortunately so, and we have been asking ourselves as that His Majesty, I even wrote a letter to him that he should sit down with Prince Mangosuthu, because despite all the weaknesses and so on, Prince Mangosuthu knows a lot about politics, the liberation struggle, as well as the issues of traditional leadership and how those should come about. So sometimes we should honor the people in our society who have the knowledge, not just positions, but the knowledge to can deal with issues. It's not a good-looking indictment on the king, especially also with the court cases coming this coming week, and Mangosuthu seems at the moment to be not participating in those court cases, and they just don't look very good for His Majesty.
Yeah. I mean, if what you're describing is the king actually not being open to advice from elders like the Prime Minister, and Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi himself saying that this appointment to the board does make it very difficult for him to serve under the king. What is the future of that relationship?
Well, the future may be decided by the courts, because under the circumstances now, Prince Mangosuthu has decided to not participate, to sign his affidavits to the courts. And in the absence of his affidavit, there could be very big problems for His Majesty, the King, and his team. You must remember that Prince Mangosuthu was in the forefront of ensuring that His Majesty becomes the king, succeeds his father. Now, if that link is not there, according to the lawyers and everybody who knows the law and so on, there could be problems. I still say the best thing bet for His Majesty the King, because on Wednesday he went on Ukhozi FM and declared that there's no problem between him and Mangosuthu. But when you have a problem with somebody, usually you go to him, you don't go to radio. You sit down and then you iron out your differences. I thought that was a little bit misled on his part. And then, of course, yesterday, everything he said on Ukhozi radio got cancelled yesterday. We went back to square one.
Yeah, not airing your dirty laundry in the media, I suppose, is the point that you're trying to make, Prof. And at the heart of this... At the heart of this is the Ingonyama Trust Board and those 2 million hectares under its control. How much does this sort of politicking put the work of the board and that land at risk?
Well, it does. You must remember some 4 or 5 years ago, there was a Halima Montante commission which recommended to government that the Ngonyama Trust be scrapped because it was not in line with the constitution and all other things. That is where the fear is, that with a weaker chairperson, that those recommendations of former President of Parliament Motlanthe will become implementable, because then, of course, we hear a lot that former Judge Gwenya was opposing that a lot, and that's one of the reasons why, under any circumstances, he could not be reappointed to continue. So he was defending the last piece of land that is still in the hands of black people. That's a problem. What will happen going forward if those suspicions become a reality is that, of course, the land under Amakhosi, because more power is given to traditional leaders, Amakhosi, than to His Majesty the King, in terms of Ingonyama Act. The King is a trustee, but the control is with Amakhosi. That's why they become a key stakeholder in all of this. So once they move away and they are removed and so on, I can see also dark clouds for the theoretical entity called the Zulu Kingdom.
Certainly a big developing story. Professor Musa Xulu, let me thank you for your time this morning. Thanks for joining us this Saturday. He is the founder of the Indonsa Yesizwe think tank.